Hello, this is Christian Da Silva, and I'm a graphic designer based in Massachusetts. Today, I want to go over 20 keyboard shortcuts for beginners within Adobe Illustrator. And the first one is to help navigate through your workspace. So, to bring up the hand tool, you can come here and click the hand tool. You can see that the shortcut is H. And what the hand tool will do will allow you to move around your workspace. And one good thing is if you have a tool open, like let's say I have the selection tool here and I want to keep working, I want to select this stuff, but I want to move, I can hold down the space bar and bring up an active hand tool, which means while I'm holding down space bar, the hand tool will be active. But as soon as I let go of the space bar, it'll go back to the tool I was using previously. So I'll go back to my selection tool. And this is very important if you're just working. And let's say I'm zoomed in, I'm working really close on this soccer ball, but maybe I want to go down to the bottom and select something. I don't want to use two keyboard shortcuts. So what I'll do is I'll just hold spacebar, move down to the bottom, let go of spacebar, have my selection tool again, and then I'll be able to select and continue working. Now another version of this hand tool is if we're working with text, but you want to move it to another area. Spacebar is not active because spacebar will put a space in your text, right? So what you do instead is you hold down Alt and that'll bring your hand tool up. So that's the second shortcut I have for you is when you're working with type, in order to bring up the hand tool, the active hand tool, hold down Alt and you'll be able to move through the area. And another thing that I find very useful is zooming in and zooming out. Now you can bring up the zoom tool here with Z, or you can just do Control or Command plus to zoom in, or Control or Command minus to zoom out. So that's great if you want to zoom in, work on something, zoom out, view your whole project. And again, zoom in, Control or Command plus, zoom out, Control or Command minus. Next thing is copy and pasting. This may be familiar for a lot of you, but just if you're not, Control or Command C will copy an item. And right now I have the soccer ball selected. And then Control or Command V will paste that object. So again, Control Command C, copy, Command Control or Control V to paste. And another option while you're doing this copying and pasting is to cut an object. Say you want to, you just want to cut it. That means you take it out of its original location and you have it in your clipboard. So now you can paste it. And once you have one object copied, you can continually paste it. It'll be the same object over and over again. But let's say what you want to do is you want to paste it to the front or to the back. So let's say I've pasted, let's put my soccer ball back here. Let's say right now I want to paste it in the back. For some reason, maybe I don't want to work on it right now, or I don't want to see it, or I want to just kind of layer it in a different way. I'll hit Control X to cut this, and then I'll hit Control B, which will paste it to the back. But what I actually want to do is I want to paste it, let's say, behind some of this text, but in front of the shield. So what I'll do is I'll cut it. I'll choose the layer that I wanted to paste in the back of, in this case, layer 6 right here. And you can that I've pasted it back, so it's behind this bar. I could also, if I'm selecting it, I can cut it. And let's say I go into the ball layer and paste it in the front. This is good if you're just working with different objects and you want to paste it in different, levels within the layer. So if you want to paste something in front of something else or behind something else, that's how you do it. So to paste in front is Control or Command F, and to paste something in back is Control or Command B. Now another thing you may want to become accustomed to is right now you can see my soccer ball. It's a group. If I open up the layers panel here, you can see there's multiple elements within it. And I just have that so I can move the soccer ball without having to click every single little element. And in order to make a group, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select the soccer ball and some other items that aren't grouped together. So let's say I want to grab the whole logo and I want to group it all together. That's with Control or Command G to group. So G for group, Control or Command G. And I'll group everything together. We'll have a weird side effect here, but if I just now with this, I have everything grouped together minus the Mill City here, the text. And this is if I just want to work on this all together. I don't want to have to click every single element. Or if I just want to move it. Let's see if I want to just bring all this to the back. So maybe I just want to bring something like that. But let's say this is not what I wanted to do. And I have everything grouped here, but I don't like kind of what's going on, or I have a group and I want to ungroup it. You can ungroup by holding or hitting Shift Control G or Shift Command G on a Mac, and I'll ungroup all the elements. So now I can select just the individual elements if I just want to work on, maybe this portion of my art. I'm just going to hit one of my other keyboard shortcuts, which is Control or Command Z to undo, so I can get back to where this was before I ungrouped it, or before I grouped it. So that's Control Z is to undo an action, and if I want to go back to where I just was, I can redo. That'll redo all the actions I just did, which is Shift Control or Shift Command Z, and I can go forward in time and redo the steps that I did. But that's not what I want to do. I want to go back to my original state, so I'll hit Control Z, and that'll get me back. Now let's say, I'm working on this image, and for some reason I keep accidentally clicking on the soccer ball. And I don't want to work on the soccer ball right now. I can lock it. And the shortcut to locking an object is Control 2 or Command 2. And I'll show you how this looks. So right now I'm selecting the soccer ball. But let's say I'm trying to click this bar, but I keep hitting the soccer ball. If I hit Control 2 or Command 2, it'll lock it. So I can no longer select the soccer ball. So if you're having issues with an object in Illustrator and you don't know why you can't click on it, you can't select it, it might be locked. So right now, if I select everything and I want to move it, you can see that I can move everything except for the locked object, which is the soccer ball. I'm just going to hit Control Z to bring it back. And that's how you lock an object, so that you can, I can also lock all these other objects. If I just want to work on a specific area of my art, I can lock all the layers that I don't want to, or all the objects I don't want to work with. And let's say I want now to unlock everything. That can be done by Control Alt 2 or Command Option 2. That will unlock all the objects. And that way now you can see I can go back and I can select the soccer ball or any other objects that were locked previously. Another option, let's say not only do you not want to select it, maybe you don't even want to look at the object right now. And you can hide objects by hitting Control or Command 3. And now hide the soccer ball. That's what I did right there. And if I hit Control Alt 3, that will show all any hidden objects. So that'll bring the soccer ball back up. And again, I'll do it again. Control 3 or Command 3. And let's say I want to get rid of the C. Control 3 or Command 3. And to show all, I'll hit Control Alt 3. And I'll bring those objects back. And another very important shortcut is to save, and you want to save very often so that when you lose kind of what you're working on, is Control S, and that'll save your file. If you noticed previously there was a asterisk on the file name, that means that it was unsaved changes. So if I touch and I move, let's say, the soccer ball up, you'll see that there's an asterisk at the end of my file name that denotes that there's unsaved changes. And I'll hit Control S or Command S to save the changes, and you can see the asterisk is now gone. That means it's saved with no changes. Another thing, if I wanted to print this document, the keyboard shortcut for that is Control or Command P. And I'll bring up the print dialog box here. And obviously you can print if you want to. That's not what I want to do right now, just showing you the shortcut. So the print dialog box or to print is Control P. Now if you're looking for more keyboard shortcuts or to review this, check out my blog, link in the description. It has the written tutorial that showcases all these tutorials. Also has a link to instructions on how to set yourself up for flashcards. That's how I learned this. To memorize the keyboard shortcuts, I use an app called Anki Flashcards. And also, I have a product which you can buy, which has intermediate and expert level shortcuts. So today I just went over 20, but my keyboard shortcut flashcard decks have beginner, intermediate, and expert levels, which have 30, 83, and then 243 cards in total. And with those, they'll help you, speed up your design process and spend less time fiddling with the menus and more time, being creative. Again, just check all that information in the description below. And that's it. That's 20 keyboard shortcuts within Adobe Illustrator. And I hope that's been useful. Obviously, there's bigger and better shortcuts. If you're looking for more shortcuts within Adobe Illustrator, you can obviously do a web search for them, or you can go to, let me see, where is it? I think it's Edit. Yeah, Edit Keyboard Shortcuts. And you can see I have some custom keyboard shortcuts, but if you go to Illustrator default, you can see all the default ones for tools, or if you want to see the menu commands, you can go through and you can see, what is available, not only what is the default, but also what's available to select. Anything that doesn't have anything can be bound, so you can come up with your own shortcuts, and that's what I've done for a couple of objects. And you can also export the text if you want to see all the keyboard shortcuts and all programmable actions that can be assigned a keyboard shortcut. You can export the text, and it'll give you a file that gives you a list of all the keyboard shortcuts. But yeah, that's been it for today. Again, this is Christian, and hope to see you guys in another video. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. Take care and have a good day.